The 2025 MotoGP season continues to surprise, even when the results seem inevitable. As the paddock rolls into Brno for round 12 of 22, there's a distinct air of nostalgia and unpredictability. After a 4-year absence, the Czech Grand Prix returns, and it could not be more symbolically charged. This isn't just another race weekend. It's the return of a historic track, the comeback of the reigning world champion, and the continuation of a season dominated by a rider who just might be redefining greatness. Marc Marquez arrives at Brno with an 83-point lead, riding a wave of dominance that has seen him win 8 races in a row, sprint and Grand Prix combined. And yet, the 8-time world champion is quick to remind everyone, we are starting from scratch. That's no exaggeration. Brno has undergone a complete resurfacing. MotoGP hasn't raced here since 2020. Only a handful of the current Premier Class riders have raced a MotoGP machine on this track. Marquez's last victory here came in 2019, the same year he claimed his last title before injuries sent his career spiraling into the unknown. Fast forward to 2025, and it's a very different Marc Marquez who returns to Brno. For surgeries, a switch from Honda to Ducati, and a rejuvenation that stunned even the most optimistic fans. I've gone Allen on the red, he confessed. I have to sacrifice many things to get to my goal, and so far it's paying off spectacularly. While Sachsenring has long been a Marquez fortress, Brno is a question mark. The new surface, new aero demands, and sheer scale of the track present a vastly different challenge. Here in Brno, we'll be starting from scratch, Marquez admitted. I've never ridden here with the Ducati, and even in terms of tarmac, we don't really know what we'll find. He went on to explain, it's one of the most beautiful and challenging tracks on the calendar. We're coming from a small layout with low grip to a big one with a lot of grip. The theory says fewer crashes on new asphalt, but sometimes it's the opposite because you don't feel the limit until it's too late. From a technical perspective, Brno demands balance. Riders will have to contend with long sweeping corners that put stress on rear grip and challenge aerodynamics through elevation changes. Marquez believes the rear lower will play a crucial role here. I'm interested in the chicane exits because the rear lower here will be used more than at other circuits. What's made Marquez's 2025 campaign so remarkable isn't just the number of wins. It's the control. Even at Sachsenring, a track where he could have played it safe, he pushed to dominate. When I have good feelings, I push. He said, you can't go out thinking about the risks. I don't want to crash, but I also don't want to lose. Momentum. That momentum has carried him to a level of statistical brilliance. With 10 sprint victories in just 11 rounds, Marquez has broken the all-time single-season sprint win record since the format's introduction in 2023. His 69th Premier Class win in Germany puts him second only to Valentino Rossi's 89. If he wins at Brno, he'll also be the first Ducati rider in history to win 5 Grand Prix in a row. Not even Pecco Bagnaia managed that during his peak runs in 2022 and 2023. And perhaps more poignantly, Marquez hasn't hit 5 straight since, 2019. I didn't expect this advantage at midseason, he admitted. We got there with more of a gap than I hoped for, but in the other 11 races, the opposite could happen. So, we have to keep our concentration high. But let's be honest, Marquez would still lead the championship even if he missed the next 2 races. Beyond the numbers, however, Brno is about something else, something unexpected. Jorge Martin, the reigning world champion, makes his comeback after one of the most bizarre and brutal title defenses in recent memory. He's missed more races than he's contested. And now, finally, he's back. For most riders, this would be a quiet, cautious return. But this is Jorge Martin. As Marc Marquez revealed, I saw H. We met on the track during training, and he was faster than me. That comment raised eyebrows across the paddock. It's not just respect, it's a warning. Good for MotoGP, good for Aprilia, and especially good for him, Marquez added. Although with H anything can happen, I'm sure that in the second part of the season, he'll do some good races, and why not? He could fight for wins. Aprilia itself has described Brno as Martin's preseason. Expectations are low, but insiders are already whispering that Martin looked sharp during a private Misano test just days before this weekend. While Marc Marquez has grabbed all the headlines, Ducati as a whole continues to dominate the constructors' Championship. Their streak of consecutive podiums could hit 78 at Brno, just 5 shy of Honda's all-time record from the 90s. Francesco Baia, however, is quietly slipping off the title radar. He finished 12th in the Sachsenring Sprint, but recovered to 3rd in the dry Grand Prix, thanks in part to crashes by Fabio Di Giannantonio and Marco Bezzecchi. "I'd like something more," Pecco admitted. "We'll continue to work, especially to find more rear grip, something we struggled with last weekend." Pecco's record at Brno isn't stellar, 12th in 2019, and he missed the 2020 race due to injury. His best finish at the track was a Moto2 podium in 2018. But if there's one rider ready to spoil Ducati's perfect party, it's Aprilia's Marco Bezzecchi. Bezzecchi has become the quiet revelation of 2025. After taking over development duties in Martin's absence, he's flourished. A British GP win, a double Dutch podium, and raw speed in Germany had even Marquez and Pecco nodding in respect. In a MotoGP behind-the-scenes clip, the Ducati duo praised Bezzecchi openly. Bez was the only rider, not a Ducati, who was strong. Pecco noted. "He's strong in every race," Marquez replied. "Since the test in hers," Pecco added. "It was Aragon, wasn't it?" Marquez clarified. "Hers one step, Aragon another," said Pecco. But Zeke's form has exploded since the Aragon test, particularly in qualifying trim. He's now the leading non-Ducati rider in the standings, sitting 6th with 130 points, 81 points clear of the next best Aprilia. If Aprilia wants to keep Martin and develop the RSGP around both him and Bezzecchi, this Brno weekend will be crucial in gauging compatibility and pace. One subplot heading into Brno is the physical state of Marc's brother and title challenger Alex Marquez. After breaking his hand at Assen, he managed to finish 2nd in Germany. But Brno's high-speed layout could expose lingering pain. "I'm a little bit worried," Alex admitted. "In Sachsenring, I suffered in the change of direction, and here we have more of them." The goal for Alex: survive, stay on the bike, and minimize the points gap to Marc and Pecco. But he knows Brno's long flowing sectors will test his hand more than any track since Mugello. "It'll be a really challenging weekend," he said. "So many tires to try, new asphalt, unknown data. But I'll go session by session and give everything." Marc Marquez may lead the championship and headline the sport, but his comments about Jorge Martin's return and Aprilia's prospects hint at something deeper. The fairing with the #1 will be out there. He told MotoGP.com, "You never know with Martin. He could be fast right away. This isn't just sentiment. It's strategic awareness." Marquez knows that as dominant as the first half of 2025 has been, the second half could shift. There's pressure from within Ducati, there's a surging Beatty. And now Martin is back. From a technical lens, Brno could also reveal vulnerabilities in Ducati's base setup. While Marquez noted that since Mugello, they've only worked on suspension. New asphalt and longer fast corners might expose rideability differences between the red bikes and the RSGPs. As we approach the halfway mark of the 2025 MotoGP season, there are 3 clear realities. Marc Marquez is on pace to rewrite history. His stats, wins, sprints, gap to rivals are elite. His mental game is unshakable. And even he admits he's made sacrifices few fans even realize. Jorge Martin's return is the X factor. Brno may not reveal everything, but the second half of 2025 could be shaped by whether Martin finds his pace or further chaos. Brno is a wild card. Between the resurfacing, the physical demands, and the 5-year data drought, anything can happen. And maybe that's exactly what this sport needs. A reminder that despite dominance, despite numbers, MotoGP is still wildly unpredictable. And as Marc Marquez himself said after his 2014 Brno defeat, "It took a weight off my shoulders. Now people won't ask me if I can win every race." 11 years later, we're asking that same question again. Will Brno break Marc's streak or launch his greatest run yet? And how fast will Jorge Martin be on his return? Drop your predictions in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more MotoGP.